can see the present vice president in the person of Professor in-Yemi Osinbajo, who has been a legal luminary, and is doing nothing. He's not even talking. I don't know if he has turned to become a dumb, deaf and dumb. He's not hearing, he's not talking.
Okay, sir, talking about the Oduduwa Nation, Sunday Igboho, do you think he is capable, do you think he is fit to be the lead man for this agitation, for this Oduduwa Nation?
Yeah, I'm somehow concerned, I'm somehow worried. See, the tempo, the way he started, I mean, Sunday Igboho, he's not sustaining the tempo. And when you are not sustaining the tempo, there is tendency of dropping back down. And I think that is what he is facing at this time. I don't know. Maybe there are some information that is not disclosed to me. Probably he may be trying to re-strategize.
What's your view about the Oduduwa Nation, the agitation for Oduduwa Nation?
Oduduwa Nation, there have been several feelings across boards, especially within the southeastern region. I mean, yes, southwestern region. And some people are clamoring for secession, Oduduwa Nation, while others are canvassing for restructuring. Over time, you can understand the position now. Diverse people with different positions. People who are still interested in the government coffers, who are still interested in Abuja sharing formula, are still canvassing for restructuring. Why the majority who has been, of course, marginalized, majority who has been sidelined, trampled upon, who has suffered so many degrees, levels of deprivation, rejection, are clamoring for their own country. People whose identity has almost been swallowed up. That is from the southwestern region. People whose voice has been lost. People, of course, whose means of livelihoods has been almost scrapped off. You can understand the level of atrocity, the level of deprivation most people are going on. Look at the youths within the southwestern regions. Most of them, over 85% of them, resort to tout, what we call the abu, collecting money from the motorbikes, from the tricycles, from the drivers and all that for daily sustainability. You see, there is no better means of engagement. Look at the factories are down. Look at, of recent, you saw what the so-called governor or the minister of information apologizing to the world for over 8 power plants went down, I mean collapsed. In such a situation, you cannot drive a viable economy. You cannot drive an industrial hub. Most of the industries within the southwestern region have totally collapsed. People are losing their jobs in their tens of thousands, and there are no new ones replacing them. You can see most graduates have been turned out, over 6 million per year. All these indices, all these situations suggest that we are not moving forward. And if the Oduduwa people have come up at this time to, of course, decide to move forward by calling for Oduduwa Nation, I think that is the best they could have. And because they needed to build up their own future, they needed to keep their identity, they needed their voice to be heard, and they are seeking for a platform where such could be possible, and that they consider the only option is Oduduwa Nation. And I tell you, there is no other possible way for their life, for their identity, their culture to be preserved, rather than having their own country or nation, where everybody's interests could be protected. You can see what is happening. The level of in this present unitary system, it has not favored neither the southeast nor the southwest. You can see the born to rule mentality going on within the Nigerian sphere, political sphere, which has not favored or engendered prosperity or coexistence. So under these circumstances, there is no other option than to part as separate ways, because a particular session have deemed it necessary to overrun the other group, to overshadow everybody. Look at the security architecture being taken over by virtually a particular section, the Fulanis. When you get to this area G now, area F, the boss, the police officer in charge of, or the DPO in charge of the area is either a Fulani core person or somebody loyal to Fulani governments. So, and that have not helped issue. So we cannot continue in this mess. It's a total mess, and a country cannot move forward under this situation. We have most people, look at most of course, the Yorubas has been reluctant in the struggle. But of recent, they have realized that their lives are in jeopardy. Not just their life, but their own ancestral home. They wouldn't want a repeat of what happened in Afonja, the Ilori saga, about 1824, where the presiding Oba Yoruba leader was hacked to death by the same Fulani people. And since 1824, they have not recovered from this shock. Their lands have been ceded to a total stranger, the Fulani Caliphate. Of course, being controlled by this Fulani Caliphate. So the Fulanis are looking for an extension of a way of expanding their caliphate. They make us more impoverished so that we become more vulnerable. We become more, willing to submit to them. That is the system, the approach they are using. They make Nigeria more poorer so that nobody can confront them, nobody can challenge them. Nobody can, they have the economic power. They will still perpetuate themselves within the corridor of power, using their economic strengths, you see, and their political power. Because without economic strength, power, money, you cannot gain power in Nigeria. So the poor masses cannot outweigh them. They can't dislodge them at that position. The only way possible is through revolution, and that is what we are calling for. Not you can hear the music, not even calling for. Every day you wake up, you hear the music of the beating of revolution. It more intensifying. We are building up to a point that, of course, the political elite, we have no place to hide. Just take, for instance, the last Acer saga. At a time, the entire political elite starts calling for safety. They are looking for a way to hide themselves. The political security personnel were overwhelmed because people, for the first time, stood up in defense of their freedom. Nobody gets freedom at the platter of gold. There must be a sacrifice to pay. And how willing you are to pay the sacrifice determines your possibility of being delivered, of being freed from the hands of the oppressors, from the hands of Pharaoh, who is bent at, of course, not letting us go. So the people has considered it the only way out. Not even restructuring. The restructuring is dead on arrival. That is the position we are now. Is separate parts are separate ways, either in peace or in pieces.
Okay, sir, talking about the Oduduwa nation, Sunday Igboho, do you think he is capable? Do you think he is fit to be the lead man for this agitation, for this Oduduwa nation?
Yeah, I'm somehow concerned. I'm somehow worried. See, the temple, the way he started, I mean, Sunday Igboho, he's not sustaining the temple. And when you are not sustaining the temple, there is tendency of dropping back down. And I think that is what he is facing at this time. I don't know. Maybe there are some information that is not disclosed to me. Probably he may be trying to re-strategize. Fine. If the Yoruba want to preserve their own kingdom, want to recover their kingdom, there should be a great move. There should be a decisive and collective move towards that. Otherwise, they should consider it a lost heritage to the Fulani race, because they are bent. Look at the killings in Oyo State. Nobody has been arrested for killing innocent people going about their duty by the so-called Nigerian government. Nobody has been apprehended. Nobody has been arrested as to serve as an scapegoat. There is no culprits under the control, under government prosecution. Why? Because virtually everyone within the security architecture are Fulanis. They give order, so when the order does not come from them, you can't arrest their own kinsmen. And in such situations, we are left with no other option than to seek our own nation. And of course, you can see the rally going on, I think, within the weekend, where the Oduduwa agitators they blocked the roads to express their rights. But of course, they sang their national anthem, Oduduwa anthem. You see, this is a way of repressing, of showing their grievances to the Nigerian nation, who have over time refused to come to negotiation table to discuss our continued existence as a people. They have jettisoned every possible means that would have resolved our rifts or a misunderstanding between different regions or ethnicities, by way of turning deaf ears to the crying of the people. Now people have resorted to self-defense, which of course is still within the ambit of the law. I mean the international law, of which the Nigerian state is a signatory to the United Nations. Yes, which recognize self-determination. So the Yoruba race, like their counterparts in the south, the old eastern region, are in the right direction. And there is no other way possible than to have their own country, where their interests will be respected, where their mothers will not be raped to death, where their young women will not be carted away, where their fathers and their young, vibrant, energetic men will have other means of livelihood to be meaningfully engaged. Look at not just resorting to tout, owoda. How long will that be sustained? What are you leaving behind for the next generation? You see, to inherit. You see, these are things that is bedeviling our current system, which is not working. You can understand what is happening in Nigeria. Look at the exchange rate. Dollar is about over 490 or thereabouts. Does that depict people who has visions, who are going somewhere? We are lost in the euphoria. We are lost in that excitement of deception, which cannot take us anywhere. It is high time we come up to say the truth. And my advice to the Yoruba race, of course, there are some saboteurs who would want to jeopardize that movement. They should be serious about that decision. They should not be deterred by the, of course, greedy few political elites who are gross beneficiaries of this flawed system called Nigeria. They would go at all lengths to frustrate that move. They should be aware of that. They shouldn't take take them for granted. They should do everything possible to clamp them down, because we are talking about, I mean, the posterity, the rest. We are talking about a people and their culture to be preserved. If nothing is done at this time, then they will have to be blamed by the coming generation, who possibly may not have opportunity to exist, because once the Fulani takes over their ancestral home, it will be a repeat of the Afonja saga, which of course the Yoruba race have tried two consecutive times to recover their lost glory, their lost inheritance. They have failed woefully, but I think they have another opportunity, a more greater opportunity to recover that by sustaining that move, Oduduwa nation. And it is possible to be actualized. But what determines that is their doggedness, their resolve. Because when your determination is strong, nothing can deter you. Not even the threats from the government of Nigeria.
But then the Yorubas have been in power, as far as I know. They have been in some top political positions in the state, in the nation. So I don't think they have been sidelined in any way.
Yes, if you are in a top political position hierarchy and the impact is not felt by your people, you see, that doesn't make any sense. The essence of government, the essence of occupying such positions is to bring the dividends of democracy to your own people as a representative of your people. So that is not fair. Look at most of the roads, federal roads within the southwest. Look at the Ibadan-Lagos Express Road. It has been in the more deplorable states for over decades, for over 4 decades. You see, it's quite unfortunate that we have Obasanjo had 2 terms as a civilian government, also during the military era. You see, was a president and commander-in-chief, could not fix most of those things. Look at Otta, it's a death trap. You see, the impact of them occupying such positions has not been felt by the masses. Last time I went through Otta Songo Road, it was a death trap. You see? And nothing has been done. Look at their militaries. Have their presence been felt in those positions? Their presence, the answer is no. So the people are now rising to the occasion. Who has been a victim of this conspiracy? There have been a conspiracy with a few political elites from the southwestern region, with their allies in the north, within the Fulani Caliphate. They have been loyal to their servant, their master, which is the Fulani Caliphate, and they wouldn't want to go against whatever might displease their master to remain relevant in this political system. That has been the situation. That is the reality on ground. So the fact that you can see the present vice president in the person of Professor in-Yemi Osinbajo, who has been a legal luminary. Look at the level of atrocity going on unchecked within the Nigerian system. Look at the violation of law, the highest level of, lawlessness is thriving in his very presence. And he's doing nothing, he's not even talking. I don't know if he has turned to become a dumb, deaf and dumb. He's not hearing, he's not talking. Is this a people we should look up to? So, the masses are fed up with this. So, the only way possible is to call for Yoruba Oduduwa nation, where they can have a true representation, where they can have a true system, where their system, their government, the economy will be driven based on ingenuity. We are not seeing it in this place. So whosoever occupies, look at these political elites have no rival within them. Their only governed or driven by their selfish interests, not the interests of the people, the masses. You see, not the interests of whosoever gets there. Look at the Jagaban. Whatever he's looking for is self-interest above the interests of the region. Likewise, the same thing happens in the southeastern region. So the political elites has failed us. They have been given an opportunity. Over time, they failed. And because they failed, we found ourselves in this mess. Because they failed, there was no true representation. Even from the southeast, the last time I traveled, there was no presence of the federal government. There is no presence of federal government in those regions. Even the so-called southwest, who has been in power, within the corridor of power, there is no presence of the federal government. Faith within this region. Have you been to Okwara State? In Osun State, you will weep for the people. There is no true. The only place it seems there is small light is within Lagos State. You see, and travel most of the roads. When you are leaving Nigeria to Benin Republic, you understood that you are living in another realm entirely. You can see the serenity of the environment. You can see the police in their point of duty, not harassing the citizens. I mean, this Cotonou, Benin Republic. You can see their airport. Look at Nigeria Airport, international airport, very close to this place.